It's the Patreon request show.
Thomas had an interesting idea this month that he wanted me to tackle, and it had nothing to do with food. So it was a different shift into a different territory that is still different for like what I do here. Thomas wanted me to do a tier list, but not a tier list that you may expect. No, he wanted me to make a tier list about mouthwash. So I bought a bunch of mouthwash. I'm going to use it, compare them, and put them in a tier list like I do in my discography review DXs. So let's go ahead and get going. Now, as you see, there's one extra because I only held up 5 bottles. And there's a 6th one up there because while I used to be bad about taking care of my teeth in spite of working in the dental industry for years, I've really been trying to make an effort to take better care of my teeth. My go-to mouthwash is this one. It's Crest Multi-Protection. It's alcohol-free. All of these have alcohol in them, I would wager. They have alcohol in them. So it'll be interesting to sort of compare and contrast the cycling of it. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to swish, spit, sit, sip, and then start again on the next one. It's all this. So let's start with this one. The my go-to in the biz. See, I like this because it feels nice. It's not super. It doesn't give you a burn, but it does still make you feel clean. It feels like your mouth was just freshened up, you know, and that's what I really like about this one. That's why I'm glad that I switched to it. I've been using it for months now, and I really enjoy it. So that's my current perspective. I'm putting this in the S tier. I think it's really good. I've had other mouthwashes than this, but I didn't want to go off of memory because I know there's some Listerines that aren't up here that I've had before. Like I've had the yellow one, which is fucking awful. My grandparents use that one. It's rough. It's a rough time, to be honest with you. Actually, let me get that downloaded and then I'll put that in the tiers. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. All right, so this one, the original Listerine. That's going in the E. That's going in the F. This is the bar. This is the scale. What I like, what I don't like. You know, this one, it just tastes like you're swishing alcohol. Like it just has this weird burn to it that I don't like. Let me take a sip. Let me take a sip. Let it sit. I did a sip. Now let's move. Let's move to another Crest. Let's do the Crest Scope Outlast. Will it outlast for me? Probably not. So that one, it has like a burn. It has like this burn that even flips up into my nostrils. It's not what I would consider a delightful feeling. I do still feel clean, but in a way it's not as intense as I know it can get. I've had mouthwashes much more intense. That was a very mild mouthwash, to be honest, which isn't a bad thing. You know, if I were on the go and I couldn't find this advanced, I wouldn't mind the Scope. It's intense. Like, it has a nice feel, but it still feels different, and the taste isn't super bad. Like, that's the other thing. Like, the taste in this is better than the mouthwashes that I've had before. It has a taste, a profile that isn't just sort of that alcoholiness that I really enjoy, and I feel like it's a good time. I like this mouthwash a decent amount. I'd say I'm gonna gauge a little softly. I'm gonna put this in the B. There might be something in the middle here that trumps it, but for now, I'm gonna stick it here. Once I'm done ranking, I will do adjustments, you know, any sort of minute tweaks I need to do. But yeah, that one wasn't bad. That was better than I was expecting, to be honest. I used to really not like mouthwash. Like, as a kid, I didn't hate it, some of the flavors, or some of the ones that we had, I enjoyed. I enjoyed the feeling of it, but sometimes we'd come across a bottle that just wasn't great. And it was what kind of made it a weird experience for me. You know, like flossing, whatever. I don't hate flossing. But like using mouthwash does feel nice if it's good mouthwash. You know what I mean? All right, now let's move on to the last Crest. Let's just do the Crest. Let's knock the Crest out of the way. Cool Mint Multi-Protection. My breath is about to be banging, by the way. My breath is about to be boss. That's for damn sure. Which I'm not mad at. I mean, it's chill, you know? We vibing with some good breath. I don't know if it's because it's my third mouthwash, or if it's because I'm so used to Listerine. Because Listerine, I feel like, has more alcohol in it. Or it feels like a crazier amount of alcohol is in this. You know what I mean? Yeah, like this is 21.6% alcohol in this, as opposed to 13%, which is not much at all. This is also alcohol-free. That's why there was no... Oh, it says it right there. Is this just the same as this? Is this the travel version of this? I don't think it is, because this doesn't have a mint. This is just regular. Well, I have the mint variant of the one I use now. That's why it was nice. I was like, that didn't burn at all. Okay. Well, then let's put that in the S tier too, because it's the same. It's even got like a little mintness to it, so it's kind of nice. Kind of cleanses the palate a little bit before we get into really beefy territory. Like, my mouth does feel super clean, though. Like, low-key. It feels really clean. All right, fuck it. Let's go into Listerine Cool Mint. This is one that I feel like I've had before in my life. I feel like I've used this one. It's Listerine. Again, we were a Listerine household growing up. I used a lot of it as a kid. And it just wasn't... Some of these just weren't my thing. And I think the purple one was my favorite of them. So we'll see. How do I... See, they put like a lock on this, so you can't just go into it. But yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a flavor I don't miss. Oh, man, that was a lot more intense. I'm teared up a little bit. Like, my tongue hurts a little bit. It's just not... It's not my vibe, dude. Like, this one I know is less intense than the yellow one. The yellow one was just, like, acid in your mouth. And this one... I don't know if it's because of the mint or what, but it feels less intense. Like, let's check the alcohol content of these. I know, again, I put them up in post, but this is 21.6. This is 21.6. And this is 21.6. Okay. So, they're the same, but I guarantee you they'll still have a different feel to them. You know, and the mint in this isn't bad. You know, I like how comforting it is. Maybe it's because I've always liked mint as a kid. I like Thin Mints. I like Andes Mints. I loved York Peppermint Patties as a kid. I like the feeling of mint. And so having mint in something, like especially if it's a cleaning thing, feels nice. You know, it feels nice to have that going on. You know what I mean? And so I know that these last two are going to be more intense. And this was fine. You know, if I were to put it somewhere, I'd put it in the C tier. You know, I think that it's definitely intense. It's a bit much, but I think that it's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's take a sip. Do a little sippy. My tongue feels like it's lessening now. Drinking that didn't feel weird. I mean, it felt like post mouthwash, but so have all the other ones. Let's do the Ultracare next. Let's see where they... Ultra Clean Listerine. Kind of rhymes. Bars. So the tongue vibe on this one feels a little more encompassing. It sort of grabs your tongue and it sort of clenches onto it. It's a little more of a intense gurgle in that sense. You know, I will say the one thing that I didn't talk about with the Cool Mint Listerine, I will say the one thing I didn't talk about with the Cool Mint Listerine was the initial taste when it hits your tongue. It happened again with the Ultra Clean, but a little more potently, and that's maybe why it had like a good grip on my tongue. But you can taste the alcohol. Like, the alcohol hits the... Like, it's more prominent, the flavor of it is. And it's it's not awful, it's just weird. Like, it just tastes weird to me. You know, and again, I know that, like, I grew up with Listerine, and I think the Ultra Clean was one that I didn't like because it felt heavier and maybe because it didn't have that minty feeling. Like, this, it's a lesser version of the yellow bottle, but it still has that sort of bite and grip that the yellow bottle did, and so it's something I'm not really enjoying. I'm going to put it in the D tier. We're going to get D tiery up in here. Now let's go to TotalCare Listerine. Now this was a newer one, if I'm not mistaken. This wasn't around maybe in the other ones. They had a flavor that they added, and I was really excited about it as a kid because kids get excited about the weirdest shit. So I remember asking my mom to buy this because I was like, oh, purple Listerine? Heck yeah, Mom. Can I have some? And so she got it for me. Or she just wanted to try it herself. I don't know. My mom tries to care about her teeth too. But Listerine TotalCare, yeah. I remember being excited for it, but I don't remember what it felt like. And so we're going to take a sip because we did a little sit. And then I'm going to speak after I swish. I'm trying really hard to keep with that S theme that my brain just decided to do. There's a process. This is a scientific experiment. That was weirder. So, like, the mouthfeel was more intense, like in the gums and the cheeks. My tongue still had a grip on it, but I could feel it more in the extraneous parts of my mouth before I spat it out. And leaving it sit there felt more intense than the other two did. Because I would sit there with all of them. And it was kind of bad with the Cool Mint. It was relatively bad with the Ultra Clean. But it was like on 10 with the TotalCare. It felt much more intense in a way that was nice. I felt like having it spit out and feeling it. It doesn't feel as bad as the tongue. The tongue felt really intense on the Ultracare, and I didn't like it that much. This one is a bit better. You know, it's probably the best Listerine I've had so far, but not by that much. The Cool Mint was still really nice. I'm going to put this with the Cool Mint, because the Cool Mint didn't have any intense feeling like these two did. Like, I felt heavy. It felt like more than the Crest ones, but it still was pleasant by and large. Well, the other two had issues, but I didn't mind the issues with the TotalCare as much as I did the Ultra Clean. That was insane. But yeah, that's some talking about mouthwash, my guys. I don't know. I'm gonna dump this cup out now, finish my water, because that is wild. And that concludes the list. What did you think about it? Did you like the list that I made? Let me know in those comments down below. Give me your thoughts on mouthwash. Do you use mouthwash? Let me know your thoughts about dental care in the comments down below. If you did like this video, be sure to give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerdery content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my other patrons. If you do want to join Thomas's ranks and help curate segments for this show, his patron tier, I think, is the $10 tier. But thank you to all my other patrons as well. If you want to join any of the other ranks, you also get early access to content. I just dropped my sneak preview of the music thing I'm going to be doing this summer up there. I also have polls going on. It's a great community we're building over there on the Patreon. So if you want to join their ranks, it's also linked down there. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you again so very much for watching. Thank you, Thomas, again for the suggestion. You guys have good last situations, and I'll see you another day.